So here's a quick video on the realities of buying aftermarket replacement parts that are for full restorations. This is a AMD Fender, and this is I'm not sure of the brand, hood. And it is the 2-inch cowl hood. It's actually for a 69 Chevelle. And the arch on the hood is consistent. I actually templated it on that side to compare it to this side. And the reason I did that was that when the hood is shut, the alignment, the arch on the fender was drastically not the same as this other AMD Fender. So that's kind of interesting. AMD is generally thought of as the better fitting options, and I've always noticed they seem to be better constructed. Possibly thicker gauge steel just seems stronger. So I try to stick with AMD when I can. And in this case, just the reality of it is that fender, that arch where it meets the hood was not correct. And so I've drilled out some of the spot welds. You can see there. The ones behind the hinge, I got a couple of options. I might just pull the hood again, which is just a nightmare. Not a nightmare, it's just it's work I don't like doing because I need to grab second body. But the other way is I think I can get in there and subtly grind off those 4 spot welds. But it was interesting, as I was drilling them out, the fender arch popped up quite a bit to where it wanted to be. So it's kind of interesting. I'm assuming that it was just a little bit of slop in the jig alignment, or you know, the thing was, or maybe I lost some of the arch when I was tweaking the fender onto the core support and the rest of the front clip. But needless to say, you'll have to do stuff like this when you are putting all new parts on and getting alignment. And when you're talking to body shops with it, you know, it sounds easy just to throw a new hood on, throw new fenders on, but there really is, if you want the alignment to look correct, there's just sometimes you open up Pandora's box of extended project. And if you embrace it and you're ready for it, it's not quite as soul crushing. If it's the first time you're doing it and you spend a bunch of money on parts and they don't line up right, it can really be frustrating, but it is kind of the way it is. Okay, so the hood alignment has been a little bit of a fun challenge, and I've been reminded about how the hood comes square, and if your fenders and front are not square, you need to make them square so that everything lines up. And so I've got all that figured out. And when I dropped the hood in, I had all sorts of interesting alignment, not alignment, but I guess it's alignment, arc problems. The hood has very consistent arc on both sides, which was nice to see that wasn't the problem. But what the problem was that each of the fenders had a slightly different arc that matched the side of the fenders. And while the gap was consistent and certainly within you know, standards, the height of how they met was just all wrong. And so I've been around some projects where hoods will be loosened, the skins of the hood will be loosened off of the body and change that. But I looked closely and saw that the hood was consistent, so I changed the arc of each of the fenders. And that has been kind of interesting. Drilled out the spot welds on the side, and on the side shown here, which is the passenger side, I needed to raise the fender quite a bit and tweak that arc. And on the driver's side, I had to move it down, which was quite a bit more challenging and required that not just the spot welds come out of there, but the sheet metal on the sides be pleated, and then push that sheet metal down. And as you can see, there's a nice little ding in there because I got a little carried away. I'm a general contractor as well, and I use a system of, it's a rod system where you can go from floor to ceiling with kind of put pressure there and hang plastic, and I use those to push that down. And I had a block of wood on that corner with the car in the garage, and the rod up against the ceiling pushing down ever so slightly, and it slipped. And so of course I have a tiny little ding there that I'll have to pull out a little bit, and then but again, the whole thing's getting skimmed, so I'm not really worried too much about it. But that's what you see there. But I was able to get the alignment really consistent. And so that's the driver's side, where you've got the hood meeting the fender just right. And on the passenger side, you've got that. And so from where I started, those were drastically terrible, and so much better now. And give me a second, I will show you the inside, the butchery that went on, but that'll all be patched, weld patched, ground off and cleaned up. But hold on a second. Okay, hood open. So here's the butchery that it took to get to the sides. And while I needed the hood on and adjustable, what I did was I just used the spot weld drill on these here. And on the ones that I could not get that to because the hinge was in the way and the hood was needed to be there for the alignment, I used a grinder on the side. And so again, a little bit of butchery. But so this is aligned, and the next time the hood comes off for body work and for final painting and stuff like that, I will absolutely clean up this inside, fill weld that. And while I was pushing things up and down, you can see I put Tech screws in the side to hold the sheet metal where I want it. And so that was the solution on that side. On this side, same thing, took out a bunch of spot welds, ground out the spot welds I could not drill on, and that sheet metal did not want to come down at all, really. And as soon as I put a few pleating cuts in the sheet metal, it gave it enough of an ability to arc, and it got a little bit carried away back there, but it's what it took to get loose. And again, Tech screw, just put a couple of Tech screws in to hold it to the elevations that I wanted. So a little bit back and forth, took about an hour. But that's aligning a couple of remanufactured hoods with a remanufactured fenders. So there we go. Thanks.